What's up, guys? Welcome to Box Football and another Super Sunday. But if you're an Arsenal fan, it wasn't really that super. Arsenal play against Aston Villa at the Emirates after a great victory against Old Trafford. It wasn't great for Arsenal. The game finished 3-1 to Aston Villa. Aston Villa were absolutely brilliant. Jack Grealish, Ross Barkley ran the show. Arsenal were a bit embarrassing. But Jack, tell me what you think of the game.
So I didn't watch the game in its entirety. Only kind of caught the highlights and notifications and just a little bit of reaction to it after the end of the game. The stat sheet clearly doesn't tell the whole thing about the match because shots 13 to 15, pretty close. I mean, you'd be surprised that Villa would have that many shots, but you'd go, okay, fair enough. Maybe they got a few lucky ones. Shots on target, Arsenal had 2, Villa had 6. So I think that may be a bit more indicative. Arsenal possession, 59% to Villa's 41%. Arsenal with way more passes, better passing accuracy, all this kind of stuff. So the stats clearly do not tell the whole story of the game. From the looks of things, Ross Barkley's a new player now. I think that any sort of pressure or weight that he felt while he was at Chelsea it's just been kind of lifted now. He feels secure in his position, secure in his role, played really, really well. Jack Grealish obviously flashes. He looks really, really confident. His body is totally different now from when he first came into the league. Like, just from a strength point of view, he looks like a proper athlete. And it kind of reminds me of when kind of Cristiano Ronaldo went from this skinny teenager to this like athlete. I feel like, I'm not saying Jack Grealish is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo, but I'm saying that putting the time in the gym and putting the work in, it's clearly, shown its fruit there,
Well, I'm going to look at this from an Arsenal point of view, then I'm going to get on to Villa, but what can I say? I remember we had a prediction show, Jack, and I put Arsenal 7th, and you were like, oh, James, you what are you doing? They're going to finish 2nd. And I feel like you look at the point of view of how good Arteta was, but I've often felt and I've often said this is the same Arsenal. Nothing much has really changed. By the manager and bringing in Thomas Partey, which is a big signing, nothing much has really changed. And let's be honest, Aston Villa came into this. Aston Villa came to the Emirates today and gave Arsenal a ass whooping, and the game was not even close. And anyone that can come and defend the performance, I am not having it at all.
Yeah.
The first thing I have to look at personally is going forward. Now, right. Arsenal have never been renowned to be the best defensive team in the world. But going forward, to me, especially under Arsene Wenger, we were the most creative team in the Premier League. We lack absolutely any creation at all. Right. I can highlight 2 chances that we had in that game. It's a Rob Holding chance and the Lacazette chance. Lacazette, on the other hand, paid 15 million for a striker who, let's be honest, big moments, he has never came up trumps.
No.
But if you really look at it now, Arsenal in the last 4 games have not scored a goal from open play. He's got 1 penalty against Manchester United. By that, Man City 0-0 didn't really show much. Against Leicester, lacking in so much creativity, not good enough. Manchester United played well, but let's be honest, we didn't really create outstanding chances. And then today, it's not good enough. And people talk about Arsenal playing 3 at the back, defensive, like it's a defensive shape. You and me know that 3 at the back can only be defensive depending the way you shape up. Playing playing 3 at the back can be very offensive if you do it right. But right now, Arsenal are not doing it right. Lacazette at this moment, it can be basically Lacazette cannot be the striker at this football club. We have our best player, our top scorer last season, out on the wing, chasing back, running after fullbacks. That cannot happen at all. No. Aubameyang must be in the center point of Arsenal's attack. Secondly, we spent nothing on Willian, but we offered this guy a 3-year deal at the age of 32.
With a lot of wages, yeah.
What does that tell you?
I know, and I hear everything you're saying. I think we can't underestimate how well Villa have played. I mean, I'm just looking at them in the table here.
And guys, I'm actually sorry for this is meant to be like a partial show. I'm sorry for showing my Arsenal colours there, but just that was one of the most embarrassing performances I've seen since Emirates was in charge. It was generally that bad.
So the number one in goals conceded, in terms of least goals conceded in the league, is 9. And that is Leicester, Tottenham, Villa, Wolves and Man City. They're all tied for least goals against. So we're talking about a decently defensive team who haven't let in a lot of goals this year. And then also on top of that, this is a top 3 scoring team. So they've got 18 goals for this year, behind, tied with Leicester, but just behind Tottenham, tied with Leicester and Liverpool, but behind Tottenham and Chelsea. So we need to give some credit to this Villa team. I know it's not the names you would expect to see there, but there is some credit there. James, my one thing is, and this is why I will still have faith over the course of the season, if I was an Arsenal supporter, I think that any mistakes or errors that have been made from this game will be, Arteta will learn.
Jack. Hold it there. Hold it. Please hear me out right now. You say that, and listen, Arteta, we back him, but we must be realistic to where we're at right now. 8 games gone, won 4, lost 4. So are we really learning?
James, you are just behind Man City. I'm not
looking at where the tables are. I'm talking about the results and what goes on in the performances. No, it hasn't been good enough so far.
But James, you're all wrong with that thought. The table is indicative of results. Mathematically, the table is indicative of results. You're with teams who are in a similar level there. And what I think will happen is the team will just get better and better. Some players have had to come out of the squad. Some players have had to come into the squad. I think that things will improve. I also think that we can't underestimate this Villa team. Now, is it acceptable to be at the Emirates and have Aston Villa beat you 3-0? No, absolutely not. There's work to be done there. But I think that if this season has shown us anything, Liverpool getting shellacked by Villa as well, that this year, especially without the fans and without the continuity of what we expect from football and football matches, that this is the kind of thing that's going to keep happening all year.
I can go on how bad Arsenal were, but I also have to give Villa so much credit. Now, Jack Grealish, I was thinking, oh yeah, everyone's giving all this hype. He turned up today, and he's shown me that he's a top player. And by him signing that big deal in the summer for Aston Villa, it's a pity, because I would love them in this Arsenal team, and I'm pretty sure plenty other top Premier League teams would have taken him. Ross Barkley, as you mentioned, this guy looked like silk out there. I cannot believe that was the same player playing for Chelsea 6 months ago. He looks like a newly born player, and it just shows you sometimes it's not working on the football club. The player just needed a change. Go on.
It's a loan, isn't it, James? It's not permanent.
Yes, it is. Alone. Ollie Watkins came in, was in the championship last year. We knew what he done with Brentford, but he came into the Premier League and he has been on fire. Today, like every time the ball went up to him, he made it stick. And not only that, he's adding build-up play with goals. Like, you look at it right now, I would take him over majority of Arsenal players right now. But Aston Villa were absolutely incredible today. Dean Smith got everything perfect and spot on. Credit to Aston Villa. Arsenal, not good enough. But let's move on. Let's talk about the champions and the former champions a few years ago. To me, the biggest game in English football when it comes to going for the championship right now, Man City versus Liverpool at the Etihad. The game finished 1-1. From where I was coming from, what a start to the game it was. So basically, when you have a big game, you would expect both teams to come in really cautious and kind of feel each other out.
Right.
Both teams went hell for leather. Liverpool went for him, pushing, playing a high line. Man City went for it also. They played a high line. So it was almost like, when you see at least one team's going to sit back. So they both played a high line. It was literally, they're all playing in the middle of the pitch, one ball over the top, and like someone was in.
No space. Yeah.
No space, no rules. Both teams set up in a 4-4-2 formation. Liverpool set out with, instead of them leaving out Firmino, that's what everyone was going to talk, because Jota was playing so well. They said, Klopp said, we're going to play all 4 of them. Mane, Salah, Firmino, Jota, you're all in the team today. And I was so excited. The start of the game was absolutely explosive. Liverpool looked like they could have taken the lead, had 3 or 4 goals. They got the penalty. Dispatched by Mo Salah. And I was thinking, ooh, Man City might be over here. Gabriel Jesus got a little bit of break with his touch, but great reactions, great goal. Then the biggest moment of the game, penalty to Man City. If anyone thinks that wasn't a penalty, Jack, have you seen the handball?
Yeah.
Do you think it was a handball?
I do. I've been talking to friends about this, and obviously I don't want to get into a bigger conversation about the handball rule and refereeing and all that kind of stuff. As far as I'm concerned, okay, it's not strictly a natural position. It does strike his arm. It's a penalty, I think.
Yeah. My thing is the distance. The distance. He has enough time to at least get his body or arm either way. It was a clear penalty, and the best player in the Premier League, you're thinking he's going to put it away, but he put it wide. Some people say that he was looking for a Sterling at the back post, and I was thinking, wow, what a first half. And then the second half comes in, it was like
a bit of a letdown.
No, you were expecting fireworks. Yeah, let's go for it. It was almost like, in a boxing match where 2 fighters just come out all guns blazing, and then they realize 6th round, let's just a few jobs here and there, and then we'll take a draw.
I think these two teams respect each other so much that whether it's at Anfield or whether it's at the Etihad, a draw is going to be a good result for both teams in either fixture. There's not this kind of El Clasico level, we've got to beat them, I don't care if it's at the Bernabeu or, whatever. I think that there's a certain level of respect between Pep and Klopp, and the league is always going to be won against the other 19 teams, not against one another. The reason why I predicted it to be 1-1, and I'm happy that I got mine right, is that it is that kind of game. There's a certain level of, okay, I don't want to get above my station here a little too much. Let's just, let's get a draw. And it's a slightly more tactical game. I know you talked about the explosive start, but I think in a lot of these games going forward, especially with no fans, there's a certain tactical side to the game and a certain conservative side to the game that we're going to see, which doesn't really sound like a very Jurgen Klopp thing, potentially more symptomatic of what Pep wants. But, yeah.
Well, I just felt coming to the end of the game, you wanted a bit more. But when you look at rivalries from different years past, when you talk about the quality of football, this generally is looking like the best football that we've seen from top rivalries in the history of football, in the history of the Premier League. You think about your Arsenal versus Man United, it was always about the Vieira, Keane, great determination. Chelsea and Man United,
yeah,
it's a big game, but a lot of dual ones we got there. But this one, I feel like the majority of the time when they both come together, it's a tactical masterclass from both teams, from both managers. It's almost like you're playing chess in certain situations. Today, literally, the start of it was virtually like that in a way. Would you add to that?
Well, I think this is the thing, James. We're getting to a point now where the Premier League and even some championship teams, the difference in quality of the squads and of the players is so minuscule that it's going to be managerial and tactical decisions that are really going to take over. I think historically there was always this, idea and this point of, well, we've got these incredibly talented players. Now you can look at a squad, even somebody like Southampton or Leicester, I'm just looking at Villa, Everton, for goodness sake. I'm looking at some of these teams that aren't the top teams. You list off some of the talent that these squads now have. Even somebody like Southampton, Danny Ings was a revelation last year. Jamie Vardy was top goal scorer last year. Oh no, excuse me, he wasn't. He was tied, right?
No, he was top. He won by 2, I think.
The players that Everton have managed to sign. So I think what we're going to see going forward now, and I mean, this is a little less about Liverpool and Man City, but I think in a lot of the matchups, we're seeing these results where it's like, who lost to who? talking about the Villa game, for example, Jack Grealish is one of the brightest prospects in, let alone Premier League, in European football. Ross Barkley playing out of his skin. Ollie Watkins, who was at Brentford, showed himself to, have an eye for goal as well. I think we're getting to a stage where the manager is becoming so much more important in the game, and the tactics behind game day are making all the difference.
Jack, last bit right now. Do you still expect Man City and Liverpool to be the top two by the end of the season? June, with all these injuries, do you still expect these two to rise above everyone else?
Well, I mean, you could do a kind of a prediction every week, couldn't you? A table prediction. It kind of makes me want to do a power rankings, actually, just because of injuries and stuff. Van Dijk, that really hurts. That really hurts Liverpool. And as far as I'm concerned, at this point, I don't know who's gonna be in the title race at this point. Do I expect Leicester to fall off? Of course I do. Do I expect Tottenham to fall off a bit? Of course I do. Southampton, of course I do. And then, it's just a lot of the other bigger teams with more time together, playing together, getting better and better. I think the table will look a little more recognisable come January time after the Christmas period. Man, but it's difficult. I'm going to repeat what I said before. Man City feel like they're waiting for Pep to renew and Messi to sign. That's what it feels like for me. I get that kind of aura from them, that they're waiting to try and win the league and the Champions League next year. That's what it feels like. I can see maybe Liverpool limping to a title this year.
I got a sword there. But I'm just going to give you a quick thing. For football fans who are seeing their teams top of the table and everyone getting excited, we're here, we're there. It's still quite early in the league. Don't get excited. If your team is doing bad right now, that don't mean they're going to get relegated. If your team's top of the league, that don't mean they're going to win the title. Relax. We're only 8 games in, but it's going to be a roller coaster ride, guys.
I may get in trouble for saying this, but Southampton fans, I really don't think you're going to make the Champions League. I'm really sorry.
No rules here, guys. Thank you for watching Box to Box Football, and we will see you next time.